we'll probably do the rank after we talk about Pengu's video. So Pengu, at the end of his stream, did a tier list for siege operators, and it went about how I thought it would go in terms of like how he said things. Most pro leaguers have like a general idea of what they want for like the characters, but you always have that thought process. There's pro leaguers, there's ranked players, and there's casual players, and there's like an in between for casual ranked players who are not actual ranked players, but they're like silvers and bronzes. To me, if you're below gold one, you're not a real ranked player. Like you play rank every now and then, but you're not like you're not a sweat. When you're gold one and higher, you're a sweat. Like you're deep diving into ranked siege. So if like you're gold one and higher, if you're a pro league player, then you see what he like had his tier list, and you understood, you knew what was going to happen. Let's jump on over there. Boom, boom. This is Pengu's tier list. So I circled the top part because this wasn't a thing yet. This is everyone who's in the meme tier was originally part of the useless tier, but his chat was like so enraged by like these people being put into useless, so he just to give benefit to the chat, he made a meme tier. But these are all useless tier. To him, these are all useless characters. He threw them into the meme tier. So we're gonna go over it. We're gonna talk about his meme, his the entire tier list. Give my reaction to it, my opinion of it, as you know, the siege tryhard that I am. So I guess we can start with the meme tier because that is the useless tier. So we'll just fuse these two together. No pun intended, because Fuse is over here on this top right. That's Fuse. Works. So there's no pun intended when we mention it. So we'll start off with Tachanka. Is Tachanka a useless character? Duh. He's been useless since the game first came out. Even post rework, he's still kind of useless. There's a reason why he's in meme. Well, the meme tier kind of exists. He's in it because he's kind of a meme. You don't play Tachanka in ranked. You don't play Tachanka in pro league. You play Tachanka if you're playing like freaking casual. And you like, yeah, let's just do something stupid. That's when you play Tachanka. Nothing about Tachanka is useful. Nothing about Tachanka is like something that you would care about. Period. I guess I should probably also like go over some of his categories. I explained meme tier is just you play them to just get some LOLs, not because you actually they're good. Situational is obviously these characters are only good for situations, obviously. So they're case by case. So they're not great, they're not bad, they're not good, they're not useless, but they're someone who you pick based on the bomb site you're going on, based on the map you're attacking on, things like that. You have the often good. Often good is like more often than not they're good, but they do have moments where they're not. They have maps where they're bad on. They have situations where they're pretty shit, but they're not situational entirely. You have to always good, no matter what. These operators are going to be bangers. They're going to be great. You have the OP. They're too good. They need to get nerfed. That's it. You have the underrated, which is, as it says, underrated these operators who Pengu feels like are really good, but no one plays them enough. So now I explain his tier list. Next, you have Cav. Unless you live under a rock, you are fully aware that Cav is not considered a top tier character, and this is where like a lot of the outrage air quotes when came to chat. Caveira is like a very like beloved siege character by the casual fan base, or I wouldn't say just casual, but like the medium tier player base. So from casual up to like gold 3, that player base, which is majority player base, loves Caveira, and they have small brains, so they just assume that the way that she works means that she's a great character, when she's not really that great of a character. Caveira isn't played in high elo, high rank siege, meaning she's not played in plat and higher. See, even excluding gold 1, which is generally considered where the high tier starts, but like plat 2 and higher. By higher, I don't just mean from plat 1 or plat 2 to freaking like champion. I'm talking plat 2 to pro league. Cav doesn't get played because pro players and top tier players don't consider her useful. They don't consider her good. They consider her pretty shit. Now the thought process for the lower tier players is Cav has a gadget that seems incredible. Face value, it does appear as incredible. Siege is a game based on utility, based on what you bring to the table in multiple ways, not just one. If Cav is on the board, and people know that Cav's on the board, Cav becomes useless because people are going to be looking for Cav. You're going to bring operators who are going to counter Cav, like Jackal, like Nomad. You're going to start bringing out these roam counter people who Cav is going to be cut off by. She becomes a dead pick. If you can't get interrogation off, Cav is a useless pick. So unless you can guarantee every single time you pick Cav, you're going to get an interrogation, you are playing a useless character. Your team's basically playing with 4 useful characters and 1 character who's not even shouldn't be there, because you only become activated if you get interrogation. And if you get an interrogation, yes, against bad players, it's gonna be super effective. But against like high tier players, they won't care. If you're playing, gold ones and higher, pros, and someone gets interrogated, everyone's gonna go outside and just wait for interrogation wear off. If you're dumb enough to push them, you're just giving them easy kills because they're waiting for people to jump out, do jump outs, do like run outs and spawn peaks. You're going to get killed. So she becomes useless. She's easy to counter. You don't really see Cav being played at all in Pro League because they know for a fact, and if you do play Cav, they play like 1 round just to like throw people off, and that's about it. But it's a rare thing to see someone pick Cav. And like I remember one time I was on Pro League, someone actually did pick Cav, and all the announcers started freaking laughing. They didn't pick him again after that. It was meant to be a joke. They didn't do it on purpose to prove Cav was good. They just picked her just to laugh because the Pro League community just sees Cav as useless. But again, low tier Siege players, they love Caveira. On face value, she looks like someone who should be a great pick, who should be a great operator, when in reality, she's not. Yes, she interrogates people. That's all she does. If you can't guarantee an interro, you're not doing anything. Even if you get like 3 kills, GG's, you fracked out. But utility-based video game, you think of utility when it comes to how useful a character is. Her utility is only activated if you, as one person, can get off an interrogation. If you can't, you didn't do anything. Third on the main tier is Recruit. Obviously, Recruit isn't useful. Obviously, if you're gonna play Recruit, you're playing Recruit for 2 reasons. 1, you don't have any operators. 2, you're trying to be funny. No one plays Recruit on purpose unless they're trying to meme out. Again, that's why it's in the main tier. So there's only 2 reasons why you play Recruit. You're new to the game, you don't have any operators, and you're just trying to join in with the meme. So Amaru, we're not gonna go deep dive on Recruit. It's pretty obvious. But what Amaru? Amaru is in a weird situation where it's like she has a really good gun, but that goes into, well, she can frag out. Theoretically, every single operator in the game can frag out. You have a gun, it shoots bullets, it hits people, they die. To some degree, everyone can frag out. But her gadget is not really useful. Like, her gadget doesn't know what Amaru does. She has a grapple hook. Use it, go up hatches, use it to go through windows. Done. You now see why she's useless. She doesn't really offer anything from a gadget standpoint to her team. If she dies, it didn't matter. If she's alive, it doesn't really matter. She has no actual impact. If someone's playing her, there's either a situational strat people feel like she can be used for, or B, they just pick her because she has a good gun. And that's it. Blitz has been nerfed into the ground. If someone's playing Blitz, is more so because they think a shield can protect them, or B, they're just trying to do like the all shields little meme. Where it's like, alright, everyone just pick shields. So you're playing like unranked, you're playing casual, everyone pick shields. So you're like, alright, fuck it, Blitz. But outside of that, Blitz is useless. He's been nerfed into the ground. He offers no real effect to any team. You're not gonna, if you're gonna bring a shield, you're gonna bring Monty, who's down here situational. You're not gonna bring Blitz. There is like a casual player base of Siege who still thinks Blitz is still useful. They don't know that he had nerfed to the ground, so they still bring him. I actually played Siege yesterday, and I played against a Blitz, and he was just doing the Blitz thing, and I'm like, you're not doing anything. You're not being effective. So next up is Oryx. As we get closer to finish off the meme tier. Oryx is another one of those people who could be situational, and I think Pengu mentioned himself. Pengu thinks that Oryx could be an often good or always good character. Again, this is not my tier list. This is Pengu's tier list. This is what the list that he made. He said auras could have been always good or often good. He gives you this score based on like if him going through hatches were silent. If there was no sound being made from him using his ability. But also know what auras does. He can jump up hatches. So if there's a broken hatch, he can climb up it. GG's. So basically a Maru, but without, you know, a grapple hook. He also runs through walls. He just runs through, bang, wall, open. Good. So he's more of a meme for Pengu at least. What I would assume is because you're not going to be picking him on purpose for a high tier rank. Pengu again thinks he can always be good or often good had he been silent. He has good guns. His gadget in theory is pretty solid. But yeah. Fuse. Fuse is a weird one. And this is just like Good Cav. This is one of those situations where his chat was kind of like, I don't know, Pengu. I feel like Fuse can be good or situational. And Pengu said the same thing that I always say about Fuse, where Fuse is only good if you have someone watching your ass. He went more detail about it. You have a full roam clear, which means you made sure this entire room cannot penetrate by roamers. You made sure this entire floor is clear of roamers. You are allowing Fuse to just do whatever he needs to do without any fear that someone's gonna flank, shoot from up top or shoot from wherever to get Fuse. You had to commit a good portion of your team to make sure Fuse can do his thing. Fuse can be good on maps like Constantly, anywhere where he can, you know, use his gadget on a ceiling to like get anything destroyed below. He can be good. He has one of the best guns in the game. Yet he has one of the worst pick rates in the game. Why? He moves too slow, and again, you gotta forfeit so much of your resources to help out Fuse. Again, making sure roamers are clear on the floor, and in general, someone has to watch his ass. That's why Fuse is made. He had him in useless, but because chat was going crazy, he added a meme tier and put Fuse into the meme tier. So let's go to useless, since we're talking about some people who are useless, but they in meme tier. He has Doc. That's going to surprise people because Doc is one of those people who gets picked all the time, like guaranteed all the time. But again, Pengu's basing his tier list on the gadgets, their utility, not pick rate, not how good someone should be. When it comes to how people play Doc, and again, Doc is a character people don't play often in Pro League or High Tier Siege, is because his gadget isn't going to be used all that often. Yes, he has a decent gun, but you know who else has Doc's gun? Oryx has Doc's gun. Melusi has Doc's gun. So if you want to use Doc's gun, you pick people who are probably better to him. Melusi being someone who's considered overpowered by Pengu. So why would you want to go with Doc, who has the same gun as Melusi, but Melusi has a better gadget, a more effective gadget? So Doc's kind of just there. Most people who play him pick him because they're trying to do freaking small peaks. That's it. Finka, this one kind of hurt me a little bit. Again, this isn't my tier list, it's Pengu's. I like Finka. Now, is she great? No. Is she overpowered? No. Is she underrated? No. But is she useless? I don't. That's where I would like. Again, this is where I would disagree with Pengu a little bit, not a lot, because I can understand why he would call her useless. But I feel like she should be situational, because I feel like with Finka, if you have a good enough, if you have a good team, you're 5-stack and you have communication, and you're trying to like push. If you want to do like a full-on push, like say you're playing Ying, you got Finka, and you got some more fraggers, you just want to push. I feel like Finka could be useful for that, but again, that makes her situational in my opinion. But I think she has a decent gun. Her Sega 12 is hilarious to play with. It's not a good gun, but it's hilarious to play with. Alibi's another one that I'm kind of like, it hurt because I like Alibi. I play Alibi a lot. I have a lot of clips of me playing Alibi, doing some great shit with Alibi. But that doesn't mean because I can do good shit with Alibi that she's good. It doesn't mean that she's great. The example Pengu gave was that he feels like Alibi and Frost are the exact same character, but Frost is a little bit better. They both have mid-tier guns. Frost has a better shotgun. Frost has a better gadget. So he feels like Frost and Alibi are exactly the same, but Frost wins on her gadget just being better. Alibi's gadget is decent, but it's kind of just there. Like, you don't really care about her gadget. You know when you see one of her prismas that is not her for the most part. Some people will panic fire and shoot, but you can kind of get an idea. Especially if you're already droned out. If you're already droned out like you're supposed to when it comes to Siege, you already know, like, that's not the real alibi. So, but her gadget becomes useless. Frost, on the other hand, your drone can't do shit to the goddamn Frost man. Yeah, you know it's there, but you might forget. Or maybe you don't have comms for the rest of your team, so they don't know about it being there. So Frost is just she just has a better gadget. Gridlock. I play a lot of Gridlock. We're used to, at least. And against him, I don't even disagree with Pengu in this situation. He feels like she's more so situational than anything else. But he put her in useless because he doesn't like the map she came out with. She came out with Outback. He hates that map. So he put her in useless. He said she's kind of situational. I would say this is kind of even as well. As someone who's played Gridlock a lot, she doesn't move very fast. Obviously, you know, let's not make jokes about Gridlock, but she's a big girl. She doesn't move fast at all. So you got this character who's kind of just slow and there. Her gadget, Nomad has a better gadget than Gridlock. I like her gadget because it's more of a distraction or more of a sound cue than anything else. I don't use Gridlock's gadget to actually cut off. Well, I do use it to cut off roam areas and potential flank spots, but I more so use it for sound cues. When I can hear someone shoot it, I can hear someone smack it, destroy it. Now I know someone's coming from that area. But for the most part, she is kind of useless. Her guns are meh, and so she's just there. It sucks because she could be good, but there's a better version of her. That's the other thing about some of the people who are in the useless and meme tier. There's better versions of them in the game. Nomad being the better version of Gridlock. She's faster, has better gadget, has better guns. Capkin. Capkin's one of those where it's like he could have been situational, but I understand why he's useless. His guns are blah. His gadget, unless you're a complete idiot, you won't walk into him. Because for the most part, if you did your drone job, if you did a good job droning, you know there's a Capkin. You're going to check every single door and window that you come across. You see it, bang, shoot it, good. The end. That's Capkin. You legit just neutralize his entire purpose of the game. Lion's trash. You don't really need to explain why Lion is useless. It's well known he's trash. His gadget, press a button, everyone gets scanned. If you're standing still, you're not scanned. Do I need to explain for a game like Siege why that gadget sucks? If you stand still, his gadget is not effective. He has three UAVs basically. If you're next to a mute jammer, it doesn't spot you. If you're using Visual's gadget, it doesn't spot you. If you stand still, it doesn't spot you. And it lasts like 4 seconds? So stand still for 4 seconds in a game where everyone stands still anyways. Even if you're roaming, you're kind of like just holding an angle, just waiting for someone to walk past you. So you're like, alright, jackass Lion just freaking scanned. His guns, man. Like, see, he's just not good. And it's funny because there's people who actually quit Siege because of Lion's gadget. Like, the way it sounds incredibly OP and ridiculous. But the counter to it, everyone counter. The entire list of attackers counters, not attackers, defenders counter freaking Lion because they all just stand still. The only time Lion can ever be effective is late round, and you know for a fact that there's people off site, and you do, say again, it's kind of like with Finka. If you do a quick plant, no one's on site, and people have to run back to you, defenders have to fall back onto site. That's when Lion becomes kind of useful because now you know where it's coming at. They have to push you. They can't stand still. They have to come at you. Knock. I really want to like Knock. I think most people who play Siege really wants to like Knock. Because ideally she's great in terms of like her aesthetics. Her gadget's cool as shit. But she's not good. Her gadget has no effect to the rest of the team. So you kind of think she's going to be a fragger. If you have someone whose gadget is useless to the team, not to themselves, but to the team, then they must have like great guns and whatnot. No, she doesn't have a great gun. So it's like, so you got a below average gun, a gadget that's not effective at all for your teammates, and now you're just there. And then like, the only time anyone's ever seen like Knock pop off was in Pro League, where she got used one time by Aces from Rogue, and that was it. Not even Aces picked her again after that. It was just a one-time thing. It was like, alright, we made Knock gun look decent. Rook Rook is again just like Doc. They have similar guns, other than the fact that he has a P90. I think Doc's P92. I don't remember. But it's kind of the same situation. No one really plays Rook. Yes, he has a sweater vest that gives you extra body armor, but headshots are headshots. If you're trying to play a game like Siege where headshots one hit kill, who gives a shit if someone wearing a Rook vest? Him in the head. The results are going to be the same. The assessment for the useless. I guess we go into situational. When it comes to Frost, we kind of explained with Frost when it came to our alibi, where it's like they're damn near exactly the same operator, but Frost has a better gadget. Both of their primary weapons are solid. They both have. Frost has a better shotgun, but she also has a better gadget. That's about it. But she's situational. You're not going to always bring her Frost, especially if you're not going to consistently bring her. You're going to bring Frost like once every now and then to throw off a team. If you know a team is going to be pushing heavy and you want to slow them down, you bring Trap Ops. You bring a Frost, throw them off so it slows them down. But you don't bring her again because people are going to be like, oh, they're going to bring a Frost. So she's situational. Buck, again, like Frost, ironic because they're from the same freaking DLC. Situational. He has a good underbarrel shotgun and skeleton key that basically allows you to do the same job as Sledge, but more dynamically. Like Sledge can only, such as over here, he's always good. Sledge has a hammer, you smack shit, GG's. But Sledge can't smack up. Buck can shoot up with a shotgun. So he can do everything Sledge can do with his hammer, but also he does something a little bit extra when it comes to vertical play. And vertical play is not often used in lower tier Siege. Thus, he's situational, but in higher tier Siege, vertical play is dominant, which is why Mira isn't often good instead of being OP. Mira would be OP if people like Buck and Sledge didn't exist. But since they do exist, people like Mira aren't OP because in high tier Siege, she's more of just an annoyance than anything else. So Buck's good. He would be better if he still had his grenades. He lost his grenades, so that's why he's situational. Bandit. Bandit has basically gone from being one of the most used operators in Siege, one of the best operators in Siege, to just being there. Thatcher is banned almost all the time. And you can kind of do Bandit's job with freaking Kaid, who's just kind of a better version of Bandit. And also, it's usually situational is matters too. You will still see a Bandit, for the most part, depending on what match you're in the Clubhouse. You're always going to see a Bandit on Clubhouse. You're always going to see a Bandit if you're playing Garage on console. But that's about it. Once you play Bandit on Garage on console, you're not going to get Bandit again for the rest of that game. Because now, if you won Garage on console, you're going elsewhere where he's not even really effective. Castle. Castle's another one of those characters where there's someone else in the game who's better than him. Rooney, who listen, always good. She's a better version of Castle. The other thing with Castle is Sledge exists. His counter is one of the most picked operators in the entire game. So he's useless. Not because his gadget sucks, not because his guns are bad. One of the most picked attackers in the entire game is Sledge. He's a direct counter to freaking Castle. Who else is one of the most picked operators in Siege? Ashe. She directly counters Castle. So he becomes useless. He has a gadget that is not really useful because everyone, I won't say everyone, but so many operators who are often picked can counter him. Then you have Echo. Echo used to be one of the most picked operators on defense. He used to be one of the best operators on defense. But he got nerfed to a point to where he's kind of just situational. I agree with him being situational. There's some people in chat who want him to be marked as useless, but he's not, because you can still utilize Echo pretty fine. Echo's one of the people who depends on the player skill. Player skill would dictate how useful Echo can be. Because his drone has been nerfed to a point where it's like, alright, well, you weren't surprised anyone with Echo pick. You're not going to throw someone off guard with Echo. They're going to know that you have Echo. They're going to know exactly what a drone is at all freaking times. So it's like, it's going to take a very intelligent player to play Echo. Which is ironic because the next person is another player who takes big brain to be good with. Anyone can play Iana. But you need a massive brain and a good team with some solid callouts to make her, always good. Like when it comes to Iana, she's either situational or always good. There's no often good. It's one or the other. Her gadget allows you to have too much communication and too much, valuable information to where she will always be good. But again, you have to be playing in a 5 stack. You have to be a person who has like top shelf map knowledge to utilize her. Her guns are, they're mid tier, and her gadget is all information. So it's going to be based on you as a person being able to utilize her gadget to the best in its ability, because you know Siege inside and out when it comes to map knowledge, and you know the callouts. I mean, outside of that, she's just someone who could be a distraction. She's someone who could get you some nice, easy, cheesy kills. So situational. Monty, the second best shield in the game. He's still situational because you don't want to bring a Monty all the time. You bring a Monty based on what maps you're playing on, what rooms you're going up against. Example will be the bank. If you're going to bottom floor and bank archives and CCTV, you'll bring a Monty because it's an easy freaking play. Pengu, who made this list, often plays Monty every now and then in Pro League. Even he put him in situational. The person who's known in Pro League for being a good Monty player doesn't play Monty enough to put him higher than situational. I think that says enough about where Monty is. I think it's funny because this is actually Tachanka right here for situational. So he has reworked Tachanka and old school Tachanka. So original Tachanka and I think this more so probably just for the LOLs. I would say he's decent. He's not often good or always good. He's kind of in between being useless as like he used to be, which is up here for the meme. But situational, if you know it, if you're trying to like cut off zone, like you can use him as a defensive version of Gridlock. You can shoot his gadget in locations that people are going to be coming from and just cut that off. So if say like attackers going to come from one spot, he's a defender, so attackers going to come from one spot. You hear them, you see them, whatever. So there's been a ping, a call out, whatever. You shoot one of his gadgets, that entire stairwell cut off until the fire goes out. So he can be good in situations. Warden, I'm surprised Warden isn't listed as useless. I guess his gadget, because he can see through smoke, he can be immune to flashbangs. That makes him kinda decent because a lot of people use flashes. A lot of people have smoke, including Ying, being someone whose actual gadget is fucking flashbanging you. She's listed up here in underrated. His guns, he had the same gun as freaking Valkyrie, so good gun. MPX is a good gun. I think Warden is. I like to call him Tom Selleck. He's an interesting guy. I wouldn't. He's definitely not often good. He's definitely not always anything like that. I would kind of want to put Warden as underrated. If I was like, this is again Pengu's list, but also just tuning in. He made a Warden situation. I would put Warden as underrated because there was that moment of time where the Ying meta was a huge thing, so he became very, very needed. But at the same time, when it comes to Warden, you have to ask yourself and your team: are you going to stop picking Ella? Are you going to stop picking, Jaeger and Elysian and Mute and Pulse? Are you going to stop bringing them to bring a Warden? No, you're not. Alright, so into the often good tier. We can like get to Halo or do the other rant that I was going to do later. Ella. I love Ella. I play her a lot. She's great. Pengu's thing for her was that she has a good gun, 2 good guns. Her shotgun is OP as fuck. And she has a decent gadget. She has a very solid gadget that's effective even when she's dead. That's one of the big things about Siege people don't understand when it comes to utility. How effective are you beyond the grave? Ella can get her mines out and die, and those mines to be effective. That's a big up. That's why there's gonna be other people on this list who also have the exact same kind of effect. She's a trap operator who can be useful even though she's dead and she has good guns. She's also a very fast character. Good character. Would you always play Ella? No. I love Ella. I don't always play Ella. Jackal's someone who could be OP if you have like, the brain cells to have full on communication. Like not even just I scan someone, look, but like being able to call out to your teammates what your plans are, where you're located, who footsteps you see, what footsteps you do see before you even scan, because you can see footsteps before you scan. So you can see like you see two set of footsteps. You're only going to scan maybe one of those. And you go, all right. Well, there was someone here, however long ago, because I think one of his nerfs, one of his buffs was that the feet, the footprint colors is like a representation of how like recent they were there. But then again, you can just scan. He also has one of the best guns in the game. He has two good guns, by the way. Like not just that he has one of the best guns in the game. He has two good guns with a gadget that's a big counter to everybody. Everybody. If you roam in Siege, Jackal counters you. So how do you counter Jackal? Frost. Not Frost can. But you don't need it. You could. I said before, even if you get scanned by Jackal, you'll be okay. If you're on site, they're not gonna just go push site because they scanned you. It'd be suicide. If you're a roamer, get into a position to where no one can flank you, no one can push you from like left or right. Everyone has to come directly at you, in like a narrow corridor to where it's gonna be a straight head-to-head gunfight. Chances are you're gonna beat Jackal because you're prepared. They know an idea of where you are. They don't know if you're crouched, if you're prone, if you're standing straight up. They don't know that. They just know where you are. Kai, again, as I mentioned before, can him Bandit. He's similar to Bandit, but he does something Bandit can't do. As in, he can use his charges on hatches. Big ups. Also, he has a really good shotgun. I like his AUG too, but his shotgun slaps. Mira, I mentioned her before, that if people like Buck and Sledge didn't exist, she will be overpowered as fuck. She's been nerfed a few times. Like, her gun's been nerfed multiple times. She's been through some shit. But she's great. Mira is like... I've mained Mira when I was like an anchor. Now I'm a roamer, but like, before I was a full head-on roamer, I used to freaking like main the shit out of Mira. I have a number of aces with Mira. I've uploaded clips of me getting aces with Mira. She's a beast. But she is easy to counter. If she doesn't have anyone protecting her, the walls that she is using for her gadget, you can use Habana, you can use Ace to get rid of. You can use Maverick. You can use any heart breacher to deal with the wall that Mirror's on. Mirror's Mirror. Again, Buck, Sledge, do some vertical play, shoot down on Mirror. She's problem solved. Throw a nade. You can deal with Mirror in a lot of easy ways. And thus, because of how much she got nerfed because of her gun, she went from being, an overpower operator to often good. She's not always picked, but she's still good. Mozzie, I would say Mozzie is an always good operator before he got nerfed. He did get a nerf where he took away, I think it was a shotgun. Either shotgun or his impact got taken away. I don't remember. Don't quote me on it. It's one of those two. And that nerf changed him from being always good to often good. He has one of the best gadgets in the game when it comes to the fact he can steal a drone. So you can still attack your drones with Mozzie. 3 is the amount that you have for it when it comes to gadgets. You can theoretically steal 3 drones. That is so much information that you can have. It's ridiculous. I have a clip. I wish I had the thought process to like do this beforehand. I would show it. But I have a clip where I'm playing as Kavera, ironically, and my brother's playing as Maverick. Not Maverick, it's a Mozzie. He has a drone on Villa that's just going back and left to right, trying to find people. And I'm playing Cav, and he's just calling out where everyone is, and I'm just getting kill after kill after kill. I had like 4 health, and I got a 4K of my brother doing like callouts with Mozzie's drone. Mozzie is super effective. He also has 2 good guns. But you don't always use Mozzie because, again, it becomes one of them things where it's like with Warden, with Vigil, with Ella, are you going to stop playing, Bandit? Are you going to stop playing Maluza? Are you going to stop playing Maestro? Are you going to stop playing Legion just to pick a Mozzie? Oh, alright. This is taking longer than I thought it was going to take. Nomad. Nomad I mentioned before, she's a better version of Gridlock. She has a gadget that's kind of difficult to see unless you're like looking for it. She has 2 good guns. She's an expert at counter the roam, and she moves fast. Something that Gridlock doesn't do. Speed matters in Siege, especially when it comes to attack. Thermite is self-explanatory. Thermite is one of the OGs. He's one of he tears down the walls. There's so many hard walls to tear down in Siege, and he takes some bitches down. The reason why he's an often good instead of always or OP is because people exist for better than him. Maverick is better than Thermite. Ace is better than Thermite. Habana is better than Thermite. You know, Thermite needs he's a support character. The ones I just named before him are not support characters. They don't need anyone's help to be effective. Thermite needs other people's help. He needs, you know, a Thatcher. He needs a colleague. He needs people to help him out. And he's again, Thermite's for you make your support player bleed. Like if you're playing the Siege, you got, let's say you got a 5 stack of all your friends. You're gonna make your worst friend the Thermite main because you don't need that person. You don't really need Thermite. Hey, open that wall, go die. Who cares? You did your job. Twitch used to be overpowered as fuck, but she got nerfed to the ground, so now she's just one of those characters who's often good. Her gadget, you can destroy other gadgets, but it's like you don't really have that many charges. Her gun's decent, and she's easy to counter. It exists. Also, she has the fattest drone in the game. Shoot it. The end. You literally counter Twitch. She only has 2 of those drones. You counter her in prep phase by just shooting a drone. You counter her again post prep phase. She's done. You've taken out all of her use for the entire freaking game. If she runs out of charges, you've taken out Twitch for the entire freaking game. Her gadget is now just nothing. All she's a person with a gun. Vigil. I'm a Vigil main. Does it upset me that Pengu considers him often good instead of always good? No. I know Vigil is a solo character. Vigil is great if you are someone who's solo killing because you don't need to rely on anybody. You don't need to rely on callouts and nothing. It's just you, his gadget, do what you gotta do. It's effective. It's very effective. You cut off one of the biggest things of Siege. Drones. Drones are one of the biggest things in Siege. Vigil's gadget makes him invisible to drones. Not to players, to the drones. But drones do know Vigil's in the area because there's a fuzz on the drone screen that lets you know there's a Vigil around here somewhere. You don't know where, but somewhere around here there's a fucking Vigil. His guns are alright. His primary gun isn't great. His shotgun's a slug, so it's more so meant to be a sniper rifle than like a close quarter shotgun that you want to use. Don't use the Bosch at close quarters. That's a terrible idea. It's a meme gun. But his primary is good. It's not great. You're not going to win gunfights with his freaking primary. It's one of the things where you want to get headshots. You want to keep people off guard. That's where you win your gunfights with Vigil. He's good. He's not great. He's not someone who you should pick every single time. I'm a Vigil main. I don't pick him all the time. Sometimes I'll pick Ella. Sometimes I'll pick Legion. But I'll pick him more often than not. He's my most picked character on PC. On console, I think it's her most picked character, if not Ella. But he's great. So I can accept Pengu putting him into often good, even though I play him enough to where he would probably consider always good. Always good. Like I feel like this is all we like. Very, very obvious. This is your top tier. Like outside of OP or power means what it means. But this is like this. These are your guaranteed picks, your go-tos. Everyone's gonna be playing these characters. Ashe is very obvious. Like if anyone ever, you don't have to even play Siege. If you know of Siege's existence, you know about Ashe. I'm an Ashe main. I'm not gonna deny it. I main Ashe on console. I don't play her on PC, but I main Ashe on console. And I have some ridiculous clips with Ashe. And most people who play Ashe have some ridiculous clips with her. She can frag out and be fast as fuck, boy. She's Speedy Gonzalez. She has a broken hitbox, but also she has a very useful gadget. Her gadget destroys walls. Her gadget destroys gadgets. She's someone who you're going to always want to have with you. And there's another person who in the game who's just like her that you always bring with you because they do the exact same thing. Goyo came out and no one knew how good he was going to be until pros got a hold of him. When pros got a hold of Goyo, he went from being like this to being like this. Like he got changed. His pick rate went whoop the second pros got handled because people started to see how you play as Goyo. He has a really good gun, the same gun that Mirror has, the Vector. He has a decent gadget where shields are powerful in Siege. He has 3 free shields that also have freaking explosives attached to the back of them. Self-explanatory. Not only do you have that shield, but you're also cutting off, an entire lane with his gadget. I've had an example I'd give when it comes to Goya that I did was we're playing on what you call it, Clubhouse, and there's weight room and then there's the bedroom. Destroyed the wall that leads right to the weight room, and there's like a window. So only thing I can see is my shield and that window. Anyone comes to that window, I shoot my shield, fire, ding, good. That's exactly what I did. Someone jumped through the window, shot my shield, he died. That cuts on anyone else who might follow with suit. GG's. IQ. IQ has one of the just 3 really good guns. They all is like meh, but I still think but it's good. If you can control his recoil, it's a good gun. He has the Commando, slow fire rate, amazingly accurate. G8, one of the best guns in the game. But again, fragging power is not how Pengu judged this list. He judged this list based on utility, pick rate by pros and high tier players, aka plat to pro, not gold and under. Plat to pros, we're basing this off of. IQ is one of the best characters in the game and has been since day one because of one thing. She counters everybody. Everybody? Everybody. Why? Everyone. She doesn't counter Frost. Anyone who has an electric gadget, IQ can see it. Valkyrie, she can see. IQ can see it. Womai, she can see it. Rooney, she can see it. Jaeger, she can see it. She can see it. Legions, she can see mutes. She can see Pulse. She can see Smokes. She can see Banshees from Lucy. She can see Maestro's little evil eyes. She can see freaking the shield for freaking Clash. She can see I think she can see Cav if Cav uses her gadget. Doc doesn't have anything to where she'd be able to see. She can see freaking prisms from what's her face, Alibi. She can see Captain charges. She can see Warden if his gadget's activated. She can see Vigil if his gadget's activated. She can see Yokai drones. She can see Bandit charges. You see him getting here? She can see Grisma mines. She can see freaking Kai charges. She can see where his little spider shits are. You see him getting out comes IQ. She sees any electrical gadget in the game. That explains enough why she's always good. Jaeger. Jaeger and Womai would both use at the exact same time because they're basically the exact same character. Their gadget is to destroy any projectiles that get thrown into a room. Grenades, stun grenades, smokes, ash charges, Sophia charges. So anything that's a projectile comes into a room, both Womai and Jaeger handle it. Everyone has grenades. Not everyone has nades. Everyone has some form of a grenade. Either you got a smoke grenade, either you got a flashbang, or you got a freaking a frag. You have one of those 3. So if all these hackers have one of those 3, you're gonna need guys like Womai and Jaeger to make sure you're not getting freaking bombarded. You're gonna make sure that they're taking out those smoke grenades because smoke grenades are more valuable than frag grenades. Frag grenades are deadly as shit, but smoke grenades prevent people from get like nice little easy plants off. Legion's one of the best freaking trap ops in the entire freaking game. There's a meme about Legion. All Siege girls play Legion because he's easy to play. It's a meme. You talk to most Siege girls, they'll laugh at it. They don't find it insulting. It's just a joke that Siege girls play trap operators. Legion's one of the best trap operators in the game. His gadget is great for so many different reasons other than just being what it is. His gadget, you step on it, you got a poison dart in your foot. The only way you get rid of that poison dart, you as operator have to stand still and take it out. That makes you stand still, you're taking damage. But not only that, Legion now knows that you stepped in because it lets out, he can hear it get stepped on. So he's gonna call to his team, hey, someone stepped on the goo mine next to Jacuzzi wall. Or you just listen to the sound cue itself. And the entire defense can hear those sound cues of someone stepping on a goo mine. So sound cues, they're also invisible. You can still see them a little bit, just a little bit, but they're invisible. Maverick, he's a heart breacher, like that boy Thermite. Better gun than Thermite. He also has nades. He's also not affected by guys like Bandit. If Bandit's in the game or Kate's in the game, guys like freaking Thermite, they can't do shit. They need a Thatcher or a Kali to help them out. So Thermite can't do shit. Same thing comes to Habana. Habana also can't do shit when operators like these two are in effect. They need someone else to help them out. Not Maverick. He doesn't need help from anybody. He do his own shit. Mute's an OG. Mute's one of my most played characters in Siege. Period. He's great. His gadgets silences things. It's gonna be hard to tell someone that Mute isn't a great pick every single time you play Siege. You're cutting off drones. You're cutting off people's gadgets, being able to be as effective as it possibly could be. He has a good gun. If he dies, his gadgets are still down. You're shutting down, teams. You're shutting down Thermite. You're shutting down freaking, what's his face? That guy. Anyone? You're shutting down all Harbiangers other than freaking the Maverick. Pulse is another one of those OGs. He has a gadget where it's a heartbeat sensor. If he sees you on a sensor, he's gonna call out to his teammates. Hey, there's someone right here. Ping it, call it out, whichever. Pulse is gonna he's an information operator. Information operators are gonna always be freaking vital as hell. He's not the only one in this freaking tier as an information operator. His gun, one of the worst guns in the game. But when you're playing Pulse, your idea isn't to be good in a gunfight. Your idea with Pulse is you're calling people out for your teammates, as well as you're going to use that C4 play. You're going to see someone with with his gadget and throw a C4, take him out. Sledge, we're going to talk about Sledge. We're going to talk about freaking Buck, so we don't need to go over him again. He's always picked because he has grenades and he has that nice ass hammer. Smoke is one of the best characters in the game. He's, in my opinion, he should have been in an underrated list, but he does get picked a lot. I still think he's underrated. Thatcher, he's one of the most banned operators in the entire game for obvious reason. He throws an EMP grenade that doesn't destroy things, it just temporarily knocks him off being used. So anyone with an electronic gadget, you don't want to deal with Thatcher. He's always banned, so chances are you won't deal with Thatcher. Valkyrie, I mentioned Pulse before about, I did call them sentry operators. These are your eyes. She throws cameras outside, inside, anywhere a camera can go, she can throw it. And you're giving your teammate and yourself just vital information. She's one of the characters in the game who a lot of people think is overpowered. Guys like Giflink think Valkyrie shouldn't even get in the game. He thinks she's ridiculous, too strong. He wants her, gone. She's not ridiculous. You can her cameras aren't bulletproof. Just shoot them. If you know they're there, shoot them. Done. Easy counter. Her gun isn't the best SMG in the game. It's just a good gun. So Valkyrie, she's always good because if great players will take so much advantage of her. She's always seen it on the pro scene, but that's about it. She's not OP. Wamai, we mentioned Jaeger. Wamai, it's just Jaeger, but not Jaeger. That's just kind of, we mentioned Ash. Zofia is that other character who's just like Ash. She has not only does she has the same kind of gadget Ash has, sounds like being able to destroy shit. She also has concussion grenades like her sister Ella. So she has a lot of utility. Rooney's one of the new operators. I think she's like the latest operator they added to the game. I haven't really played her myself, so I can't really say too much about her. I've seen a lot on her. She's like Castle, but better. She has better guns. The way her gadget works is more effective. And she's not someone you can just counter with a freaking sledge by just hammering her shit, or by just shooting her shit. That's not how it works because of her. So even though I don't have any experience with her myself, I understand why she's considered an always good pick. All right, last two tiers, underrated and OP. We can get to play some Halo. This has been an hour of doing this. Ace is another new character to the game. He has one of the best guns in the game, the AK-12. Same gun that Fuse have, but it's not good enough to make Fuse good. He has an amazing gadget. He's probably the best Harbinger in the game. It's gonna be between him and Maverick and Habana. Those are the best Harbingers. Habana is just now she just got buffed. Before she got buffed, she was down here in situational. And the best, breachers in the game were just Ace and Maverick. But because of how strong Ace was, how strong Maverick was, and how Thermite's always going to be someone you can fall back on, Habana got buffed, and now she's up here in OP tier list. Even though I don't think she's OP, her gun sucks. It doesn't suck in terms of like damage. It just doesn't have enough bullets. You're gonna often run out of bullets when it comes playing Habana. So I will put her more as like a always good or often good more than OP. Her gadget is what makes her OP, but everything else about her drops her down for me. But I'm kind of talking about her and Ace at the exact same time. Ace, again, he has probably the best heartbeat gadget in the entire game, as well as one of the best guns in the game. He's good. He's really good. OP is probably the right thing to say about him. I don't ever, when I play against Ace, I never go like, oh shit, fuck Ace, he's overpowered, nerf him. But I gotta say why he's in like a tier for being OP. Blackbeard, Blackbeard's slow as shit. His guns are below freaking average, but his gadget is why he's up here. He has a gadget where he has a face shield, basically legalized head glitch. That's what gadget. That's what Blackbeard is. He's a this entire part is covered by a bulletproof glass. Again, Siege is a game where headshots are king. So you have a character whose face is protected. Now you see why he's overpowered. If you're playing on PC, even more so because PC players are always going for headshots. Console, a little different. People aim for the body more so than anything else. So he's not as strong on console, but on PC he's ridiculous. Most players hate him. Pengu went as far as, let's say, he shouldn't be in a game period. Like he feels like I must say Gadget. He feels like Blackbeard needs to be changed entirely. Like whatever plan they have for Blackbeard for a rework should be something that doesn't involve him having a bulletproof shield. Period. Clash. Everyone has said Monty is one of the best shields in the game. Clash is the best shield in the game. Even though she's not as effective when it comes to, the plant like freaking Monty can be. Her gadget shocks you. It's clear, so her teammates can be behind her and look through it as well to decide any kind of action. You got to like get close to her to make her shield useless. You also gotta have grenades or Capital to make her useless. You gotta have freaking Thatcher, who's always banned to try to counter her. She's a problem. She's always broken. There's always a bug involving her to where they gotta freaking take her out of the freaking game because she's always breaking shit. She's insane. She's OP. Everyone hates her. She gets banned in Siege not because she's good, but because no one wants to deal with her gadget. Like it's just a frustration. She's not the most effective character in the entire game. She's not as effective as a Thatcher. She's not as effective as a Valkyrie or a Jaeger. But because of the fact that she shocks you with her freaking shield, because your best way to be effective is to melee her, she gets banned a lot. She's just an irritation. And I don't know how they're gonna fix her. I don't know how they're gonna like nerf her or whatever. But it is what it is. Habana, we talked about her. We're talking about Ace. Maestro's insane. I can see why he put him at OP. Maestro is so good. They took away his ACOG and he was still good. Because like for a while, Ubisoft was kind of dumb, and they assumed that just because you got ACOG, that's why your gun's insane. They took away his ACOG and his gun was still insane. The day the ACOG patch came out, where they took his ACOG off, I played Maestro and got an ace the very first round, and then got a 4K the second round. His gun is insane, but it's not his gun that makes him OP. His gadget can destroy drones, can destroy Twitch charges, can zap players, so you're prevented from planting the bomb with planting the diffuser. You can see through smoke. It's literally a camera, so you're seeing everything. There's just so much utility to just one freaking bubble. But he has two. So you have double all of that great shit. In order to destroy it, you gotta smack it with Sledge. You gotta hit it with Ash. And they just nerfed the explosive radius for people like Ash and freaking and Zofia, so it's even harder to even hit. It's ridiculous. And then there's Melusi, the current most controversial character in R6. Her banshees are ridiculous. Her gun just got nerfed. It took away the angle grip and gave her just a foregrip by itself. She has the same gun as freaking Doc and Rook and freaking Oryx. But they're mid-tier guns, but her gadget's why she's OP. Her gadget is a Banshee. It slows you down when you're near it. It makes a loud sound. Somewhere you can slow it down, everyone hears it. So you're an easier target because of her. Because of her, she is 3 of them. She needs to have 2. That's the nerf that Ubisoft needs to go with. She needs to just have 2. It needs to have a smaller radius. Smaller radius, only have 2. Then you literally fix Melusi. Alright, so the last tier, for those who are just tuning in, we already did main tiers, first tier we did. So for the last tier, underrated. We got Zero, aka Sam Fisher. His gadget's pretty good. He's like an offensive version of Valkyrie in a way, where you get like this little small camera in a good spot. He also has the ability to zap things once, so kind of like a fusion of Twitch's ability and Valk at the same time, but doesn't have as much. So he can be pretty good. He can be very vital with a team with a lot of information. Well, not a lot of information, but a lot of callouts. A nice little 5-stack can make very good use of a freaking Zero. And he's kind of underpicked, so people don't expect you to have him. So they want to be like, they want you playing to be counter. You can literally have everyone, all 4 players, doing one thing. Then the 5th player's playing Zero, and he does, he plays Zero the way Zero's intended to be played. And you can just throw off an entire team with just that one move, because they're all focused on those 4 players. And they don't even know you even have a Zero, so they're just like, oh, well, shit, we lost our shit. How did our bandit wire get shot? Or how did the Kai charge get shot? You're just like, it also getting scanned by the cameras. It's like, alright, this guy is really good. He also has one of the best guns in the game, the MP7. Ying, I love Ying. Ying has been through a lot though. Her gun has been nerfed, it's been buffed, it's been nerfed, it's been buffed. It's ridiculous, but it's a good gun. That's why it keeps getting nerfed and buffed. And she also has a gadget, her Candelas. She has 3 of them, and they're insane flashbangs that she's immune to. So basically, think of your self-defense. You're playing defense, you're playing anger, you're in the objective, doing your job, and all of a sudden this little ball just rolls in, and all this flashing's going off, and now you're dead. She sees pretty freaking fine because her visor. You can't see shit because flashing lights. Now we can have that song "Blinding Lights." You seen some blinding lights? There's literally a meta called the 20-second meta. That's because of Ying. Then she got nerfed, but she's still really good. But she's not getting picked as often because, again, when it comes to Siege, who are you gonna stop playing to play Ying? You're not gonna stop playing Ashe. You're not gonna stop playing freaking Zofia. You're not gonna stop playing Maverick or freaking Sledge. You're not gonna stop playing freaking, my Jackal. You're gonna pick all these other people before you pick her because they're more useful immediately. Whereas Ying could get killed immediately, and it's like, alright, well, you didn't do shit. Glass, I feel like Glass is useless. Pengu had his own reasons why he thinks he's underrated. Basically, here's what I'll say. The way Pengu described Glass, he's more situational than anything else. He basically said Glass is good if Wharton isn't picked, and everyone else, as in the other 4 players, are playing operators without smoke grenades. All those smoke grenades plus Glass makes Glass insane. But again, that sounds more situational than anything else. Dokkaebi, aka Grace, aka Dokkaebi. Everyone loves Dokkaebi, even though her lead skin sucks. She has an insane gadget that counters roamers. It's literally ridiculous how good it is. But she has a trash gun. So you have this person with a trash gun who has an amazing gadget. But she also has grenades. So you have 2 great things and 1 bad thing. And that 1 bad thing, if you have a decent enough aim and reaction speed, you can tolerate it. I love Dokkaebi. I play her every now and then. She's not my main. I don't main her as much as I main, like an Ashe. I main Ashe. I'll play Dokkaebi every now and then. Usually what dictates me picking up Dokkaebi is if I know for a fact a team is roaming super heavy, and I want to help my team out. I don't want to just help out by getting kills like I'm playing Ashe. I want to help my team out by getting legit, making sure they know exactly where people are located. I had a game recently where we're attacking archives on Bank, and this is off the rip. I used freaking Dokkaebi's freaking scan, and our Ashe got a 3K because there's 3 people hiding inside archives. And the second I freaking pinged, Ashe knew exactly where they're located, and she just bang, 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 done. She is so good, but her primary gun is so bad. Which brings us to freaking Kali. Kali is kind of similar to Dokkaebi. not in terms of gadget, but in terms of gun. Her gun, brutal when it hits, but it's a bolt action rifle. So she's kind of useless once you get into a building. When you're outside a building, you're just holding an angle like on Garage for Consulate. Her gun's still pretty good. But when you gotta get inside, Kali sucks. Her gadget, similar to freaking Thatcher, is meant to counter, anything that's electronic. But unlike him, Kali's destroy it. So you're kind of picking her to counter a Kaid, counter freaking Mute, to counter, not Mute. I think Mute actually counters her, but the counter a Kaid, counter Bandit. But again, her gun sucks. But if you can be a good sniper and stay outside, OBJ, or just really get good line of sight, she can be really good. I really love that Pengu called her underrated. Is everyone else calling her useless? Pengu said no. He thinks that she's freaking underrated. He had her in often good at first because people were like complaining about it. He was like, fine, I'll make an underrated tier list and put her underrated. She's really good. She's a really good operator. Capital is someone who's often banned. So that should tell you enough about Capital and how good he is. He has a gun that doesn't have a good fire rate, but it's accurate as shit. He shoots fire bolts and smokes. Smokes, again, most useful thing in Siege when it comes to nades. And he also shoots fire. When someone throws napalm around, useful as shit. But he's not picked all that often. He's kind of situational when it comes to his pick. But again, just like when it comes to Ying, when it comes to Zero, when it comes to Cadney, who are you going to stop playing to pick Capital once or twice? In general, I think Pengu had a good list. My closing thoughts, by the way. I think Pengu had a good list. I think people reaction to it was more so because he made their favorite characters useless. And again, understand when it comes to Siege. When it comes to Siege, the most played characters are usually played by casuals, by people who are not even gold ranked. The most populated rank in Siege is literally silver. Silver is where majority of player base is. The lowest percentage of players is plat 1 and higher. So everyone who's freaking silver is your average Siege player. They're playing freaking Doc. They're playing Caveira. They're playing Finka. They're playing Alibi. They're playing all these useless operators. But that's why they're just silvers. That's why they can't get to freaking gold 1 and plat 3 and plat 2 and plat 1 and diamond and champion or be a pro player because they're playing these characters who aren't even good. So it's like, that's how you understand it, but they don't understand it. They don't have that the brain cells to just be like, yeah, these characters are bad. I should probably use somebody else. Maybe that's why I'll get better. But they don't think like that. That's loud. I'm switching to the freaking Halo, and it's like super fucking loud. I think it was a good list. I think Pengu did a good job. He's playing everything very, very well. And when it comes down to people like disagreeing, it's just more so one of the things where it's like he made a character who I like useless, so therefore I'm upset. It's like, no, he's right. Even when it comes to Caveira, I've played Caveira. Caveira can be a very useful ass character. When I play Cav, I don't even play Cav to use her gadget. I play Cav to use her, like, not only not using gadget. I don't play her to use the Intero. I play her to use her silent step to be sneaky as shit. So I can just run around without any fear of my footsteps getting hurt, even though you can't hear them a little bit. When I play Cav, I'm trying to counter a Jackal if there's a freaking Jackal. But for the most part, I don't even play Cav for Interos. Because they're not. It's a thing. You're not going to go for. If you go for an Intero every single time you down somebody, you're opening yourself up to get shot. So let's say you down someone, you go for Intero. Now they got a teammate who's right behind them. Think about high tier Siege and Pro League. No one's by themselves. Everyone has their teammates around them 90% of the time. So if you down someone with Cav, chances are you're gonna get a refrag immediately. You're gonna let's just hypothetically you down Ash on entry frag, and the second you're ready to go for that Taro, Nomad's right behind her. So let you're quick witted and freaking get that Nomad as well. But oh, guess what? Maverick's behind Nomad. Most pro players and top tier players are always playing around each other and near each other. So that's why Cav gets made useless.